31-28, Colorado falls to Kansas State. As we expected, Brian, a highly, highly entertaining football game. A lot to dive into here. This was going to be a statement win had they been able to get it. And their goals are still in front of them even with this loss, but it's a little bit harder path now.
Yeah, it's a harder path. I think I tried to ask the question, to Shedeur and Cam and Craig, if they still made somewhat of a statement tonight, and they gave the answer they should. Hey, a loss is a loss, and no, it doesn't. I understand how they're feeling, but I also feel like the Buffs showed well tonight, and they, in my opinion, made a statement to the rest of the Big 12 that it's not going to be easy to beat us, and it took a lot for K-State to get this win. Even on a night when Colorado had a program low for rushing yards, they still almost won this football game because they've got a lot of good football players. And we saw the depth show up in a lot of different areas tonight because it had to. The Buffs are not going to be an easy out, and they're going to win a lot more football games.
Yeah, it was 74 yards they lost on those 6 sacks that Kansas State had. And, a lot of times we see Shedeur Sanders be able to kind of spin out of the pressure and create a play, but credit to Kansas State. That is, as we expected, a very disciplined defense that they have. Nothing super spectacular, but they play really well as a unit.
Well, and we know with this Colorado offense that's what you're going to get. Sometimes these teams are going to come after you, and you're going to have some of these teams are going to get a bunch of sacks. And K-State's capable of doing that, and they got that tonight. Yeah, it's nothing spectacular or nothing special, but they're just really good on defense. And Shedeur after the game said a lot of those or some of those are my fault. I've got to avoid some of those sacks, and I think sometimes he runs backwards too much. On some of those, and if it could be even an 8-yard loss on a sack, it's 18, and that kind of kills you a little bit. But he's also the one that has him in position to win that game, and so you certainly you take the sacks with the big plays he makes as well. The big plays far outweigh, in my opinion, some of those sacks. But K-State, they're pretty good. I mean, they're pretty salty on defense.
They have a lot of depth at receiver, and that depth took a big hit today with 4 receivers going down. Jimmy Horn Jr. and Travis Hunter both knocked out of the game in the first half. In the second half, it was Terrell Timmons and who am I blanking? Omarion Miller, who was having a fantastic football game. And we haven't gotten an update there. That did not look good because Omarion Miller needed to get help off the field after that.
Yeah, that one didn't look good. And the one thing with Jimmy and Travis is they were back on the sideline, still in pads and in uniform in the second half. No helmets, but walking around clearly, cheering on their teammates. But they were at least healthy enough that they didn't change out of their clothes, their jersey and everything. You hope they're back quickly. Omarion, you're right. It doesn't look good. You hope Terrell Timmons is back as well. But if you're missing those 4, let's just say you're missing those 4 next week. Now that depth all of a sudden it looks like, oh boy, and we'll get into more of this next week if we find out some things. But I will say this. He was asked about Cordell Russell, and he did say, I think Cordell's ready to go. Cordell Russell did go through warm-ups, but then was not in uniform tonight. So I think just kind of maybe a healthy scratch. But that's a guy that may get an opportunity going forward. But obviously we don't know the extent of the injuries at this point. You hope that Travis and Jimmy are back.
The most frustrating thing outside of those injuries offensively tonight was just not being able to get that ground game going. And Shedeur Sanders did make the point that, hey, when you're coming back in a game, you're going to have to pass the ball. But it's still kind of maybe it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then there's a couple more steps forward with that ground game because we saw them start to get much better, much more efficient running the ball. Didn't see a whole lot of 11 personnel out there tonight. It was primarily back to kind of their 10 personnel look.
Yeah, and last week, against 2 weeks ago against UCF, they did really well running the football out of 11 personnel. I was looking at it. I went through looking at the game. With the running backs, I think it was 17 carries for 104 yards against UCF out of 11. Tonight, not a whole lot of that. And so clearly K-State, came in with the intent of we're not going to let you run the football. It's clear that Colorado's better on offense when they can add that running element, and they still were able to get a lot of things done tonight. So Colorado's dangerous if you can run. K-State didn't allow it.
Defensively, it was kind of a mixed bag. Coach Prime didn't mince words when was asked about Shiloh Sanders and said he's basically stunk tonight. And he said rust, and we'll see if he's performing better. There's a lot of people on social media I've seen kind of going after him right now. He was a solid football player for the Buffs last year, and he's coming back from an injury, but it certainly didn't look good tonight.
It did not look good tonight, and we didn't talk to Shiloh. It's only speculation right now. I would guess that for him, this was one of those things where he's missed a lot of football over the last month, and maybe he's trying too hard and going for the big hit a lot tonight, and he missed a lot of those, and not wrapping up. It was a tough game for him, but I expect him to bounce back and be better going forward. Just because of who he is, who his dad is, who he's got coaching him, not only his dad, but Coach Livingston and Mathis, all those guys. I expect Shiloh to have better games going forward. To me, I chalk this up as he's coming back from injury. Remember last year, Travis Hunter came back from injury against Stanford, did not have a very good game defensively against Stanford, and came back and played really good football after that. I would expect the same type of thing out of Shiloh.
And with Travis Hunter going out, you lose your number one corner. We saw Colton Hood come in the game and make some nice plays, including that interception late on the tip pass. He's a guy we've kept hearing his name since he got on campus as a transfer from Auburn, and he's going to have a really bright future here.
Yeah, he looks really good, and it was a tip interception, great play. I thought he was going to score. Yeah. I don't know what he tripped up on there, but it looked like his own legs a little bit, but. The only unfortunate thing about that one is that it came with too much time left on the clock, in case State was able to come back and answer it. But, he's pretty good. And I think you want Travis Hunter there, but you feel good about Colton Hood as well.
B.J. Green, couple sacks, his first sacks as a Buff. And Tajay McCoy was credited with the sack as well on intentional grounding call there. They were getting to the second level and third level so much easier on the ground than we've seen other teams against the Buffs this season. Part of it, I think, was not a great defensive effort in stopping the run, at least specifically in the first half. Part of it, though, you got to tip your cap to DJ Giddens, because he's not even that big of a back, but he runs so hard.
And he's so shifty, too. He's such a patient runner. He's fun to watch because he's patient. He watches it, and he'll find a hole. And when it looks like there isn't one, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, he got 5, 6, 7 yards out of that. And so he's a really talented back. First player this season to go over 100 yards rushing and receiving against CU. So you knew it was going to take something like that to do it. The way CU's been playing, he's a fantastic player. I still think the Buffs have got a good defense. They just ran into one of the best players in the conference tonight, I think.
Kansas State might be the best team in this conference. BYU won again today, but this was a physical, again, well-coached football team. If you ask me right now, and I know Iowa State's doing well right now, I maybe I'm biased because I just saw Kansas State up close and personal, but they would probably be my pick to win the conference right now.
If they play like that, I think they are. They didn't play like that at BYU, and they got smoked 38-9. BYU might be the best team in the conference right now, but if K-State plays like that, I think they might be. And look, CU lost by 3 points. CU's right there, in my opinion. And to my point earlier, I think the Buffs made a bit of a statement tonight that they're going to be in this race, and that they may not win it, but they're going to win a lot of football games. And I think that they're going to be in the top portion of the standings by the time this thing is done.
All right, Colorado is 4-2 at the midway point of the regular season. They're going to be traveling out to play at Arizona next week.